Hey, what's up, you guys? Gorgeous day here in mid-Michigan. 45 degrees, partly cloudy, and the clouds that are here partly are big, fluffy white ones. Beautiful blue skies. Let me talk a little bit about what's in my bag today, give you an idea of what I'm carrying. Carrying a big bag today, the Think Tank Photo Retrospective 30. It's one of the larger shoulder bags that they have. Got the larger bag because I've got a larger kit with me. Not larger in quantity, but just in size of the gear. So I'm shooting with a Grip DM1, and I have the 40 to 150 f2.8 with the MC14 teleconverter attached. So you can tell by that setup right there, I'm shooting for wildlife if I see any. But I also have one other lens with me, really pared this down, 7 to 14 f2.8. So my frame of thought is I'm either going for wildlife or I'm going for a big scenic landscape. Hard to say which one I'll get, although it's a lot more likely that I'll get a pretty landscape than I will an interesting piece of wildlife, that's for sure. Before I turn off the camera, a little update on my cat Cosmo. Cosmo had blood work done and urinalysis done, and I'm waiting on those results. Actually, my wife probably has the results already, and I haven't spoken to her. But could be a couple of things. It could be kidney disease. He's old, mind you, 16 years old. Or it could be that he's got a really, really, really bad urinary tract infection, which is possible with cats. Or it could be diabetes. It could be a couple, several different things there. So he ended up getting a shot for pain and an antibiotic because he does have a bad tooth, and just waiting on those results to figure out what we're going to do and go from there. So yeah, thanks for the concern about my cat. He's a sweet cat, very cuddly, and like all cats, weird and independent in a weird independent cat way. So let me kill the camera. Next time I turn it on, we'll be out shooting. All right, back on the road. Dropped my son off at home and gonna go wander around in the woods. I really wish it was about 3 weeks later than it is now, just because, well, I guess 3 weeks from now I'd be in Arizona doing the astrophotography workshop. But I just wish it was a little bit later because there'd be more plant life. And the reason that I'm interested in plant life is specifically in this location where I'm shooting today. There are some really cool things that grow in these woods. There are a lot of trillium that grow. Really beautiful wildflower, woodland flower that grows here in Michigan, and I think probably anywhere east of the Mississippi would be my guess. But it's not super common around here. I mean, you can find it if you go look, but it's not like a dandelion by any means. It's not one of those flowers that's everywhere. But there's this spot in these woods where the forest floor is blanketed with them, and it's just beautiful. And there's another flower here, Jack in the Pulpit. Again, definitely a lot less common even than the trillium are, and just really cool to find those growing in the woods here. Just a really unique looking flower. Without knowing for a fact, I'm going to guess that it's related to like the calla lilies. If you look up Jack in the Pulpit, or I guess I could share a photo here, you can see the resemblance to calla lily. And there are also some edible things that grow in these woods as well. I've had a lot of success finding morel mushrooms, which are just, they're a treat. They're extremely delicious. And there is another plant that grows here called ramps, and they're, I'm guessing, related to onions in a way. Really delicious plant as well. So just a lot of interesting plant life as well as wildlife in this little patch of woods. That's why I love coming here to shoot. So I'm going to shut the camera off now and head out into the woods and see what we can find, whether it be some sort of a landscape or plant life or wildlife. We'll see. Peace. So I'm here, and I wanted to get some really good drone footage of the property that I'm walking on, and actually I think I did get the footage, but I crashed. Coming in a little too hot on the landing, and I have aftermarket landing gear on my Phantom that are taller and wider spaced to allow for a gimbal, so they tend to be springy, and if you come in hot they tend to flex, which allowed the gimbal to smack the ground, which made the drone flip upside down. Yeah, it was a mess. I'll be glad when I get the new Phantom, because that's on my shopping list, and I will be able to do a little bit more video work in the vlog and just in general. And in my rush to get out of the house today, I came out here with no tripod, so everything I'm shooting is going to be handheld with the 40 to 150 and teleconverter. So thank God for image stabilization. I'll turn the camera around and see if I can find these ducks. You see that? I'm not sure what kind of bird that was. I'll have to look it up based on its call. It looks like a hawk of some sort. There were a pair of them up in these pine trees up here. I'm really curious what those were. I want to say, now I've never seen one from that perspective, but I half wonder if it's Cooper's hawks. Alright, back to where I was going. So I'm going to be shooting in my default mode, which is aperture priority, just because there's enough light that wide open at f4. My shutter speed right now is currently at, oh, hold on, I'm at ISO 800. Let me drop that down. At ISO 200, I'm at 640th of a second. I should have no problem hand holding this lens and shooting that. If these ducks, and even if the ducks are swimming, 640th of a second will stop their movement easy. If I felt like I was going to have to be capturing some fast motion, then I would probably switch over to shutter priority and set it to 800th of a second, maybe 1,000th. Set auto ISO. My auto ISO is capped at 6400, which I know sounds ridiculously high to a lot of people, but you can work with ISO 6400 on the EM1 and the EM5 Mark II, and really any of the these Olympus OMD cameras. There goes the hawk. There they go, a pair of them. Man, they're Cooper's hawks. I know they are, because they're flying in through the trees like stealth fighters. They're so fast, and Cooper hawks do that. They'll snag a bird right out of a tree as it's resting. Alright, I'm coming up on this rise in the hill right here. Down the other side is where that pond is, where those ducks are. So I need to be quiet. Another tip for you guys too, I have one of my function buttons set to magnify, and I have the magnification at the maximum, which is 14x. The way you achieve that is you touch whatever button, whatever function button you have set to magnify, and you get the green focus box that pops up, and then you roll your control wheel to increase or decrease magnification. When you increase magnification, your focus box goes from a larger green square down to a smaller one. So I have my, oh, there goes a deer. I'm running my mouth and I'm not watching the animals. Damn, there's 2 of them. Okay, anyways, so set function 1 is set to magnify, and I have it set at 14x. That gives me the smallest focus box possible. I also have my focus set to the superfine focus point, which again is the smallest focus point possible. So when I'm going to shoot wildlife, I have my focus set on the center focus point, and I push my function button once to activate that little green box, and I put that green box on my subject. This ensures that I'm locking focus on my subject and not something like off to its side or whatever. You know, if you had the larger focus box, you might be capturing something off to the side of your subject and not right on it. So that's just a little tip for people who use center focus point. Okay. I don't know if I'm hearing ducks or if those are frogs. I don't think they're ducks. Man, I'm really in a bad position to come over here to try to photograph them because they'll see me from a mile away. What are you? What are you? Oh, dark-eyed junco. I think that's what you are. No, you're too big. Another bird for me to look up. There's the hawk. Right up there. Can you see him up here? He looks really downy. I wonder if it's a baby. Alright, so it's time to shoot lemonade. The hell does that mean? Well, you've heard the old adage, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, I didn't get my ducks, so it wasn't really the wildlife experience that I was hoping for. So I've switched over to the 7 to 14 millimeter and just gonna shoot some plant life, see what we can find. Although we're not alone now, I see another car in the parking lot. Alrighty, let's get off the beaten trail here. I'm a big lover of moss. I've probably mentioned it in a previous vlog post, and if I haven't, well, I'm doing it now. Something fascinating about moss for me. And one of the things that I love about the 7 to 14 millimeter is how close you can focus with it. So you can get these really incredible super close-up, ultra-wide scenes. And well, that's what I'm doing with the moss. I just want this larger-than-life perspective of it. And I'm using the rear display on the camera, tilting it up so I can be looking down at the camera to compose the shot. That way I only have to get down on one knee and not lay down to do it. Super cool. Crazy. So really, only took a couple of shots of the moss. See if I can make one of those a good photo with a little bit of creative editing. I'm shutting it down for the night, everybody. See you tomorrow.